My aunt always reminded me that she had done me the greatest favor of my life, raising me after my parents passed away when I was still young. She wore it like a badge of honor, but behind closed doors, the kindness she claimed to show me came with conditions, debts, and emotional chains I never asked for. She liked to tell people that she had saved me, but what no one knew was that she treated me less like family and more like an unpaid servant, always reminding me that I owed her my life. I endured it for years, swallowing the bitterness, until the day she claimed I owed her $50,000 for the costs of raising me. That was the moment I realized her so-called love had always been a transaction in her eyes, and I decided to fight back, no matter the cost. Growing up under her roof was a constant mix of obligation and quiet resentment. She'd let me live in her home, but everything came with strings attached. She'd remind me during every meal that the food on my plate wasn't free. She'd make me work late nights cleaning her house, cooking for her children, and even helping with her small business, all while calling it teaching responsibility. I couldn't argue, because I had nowhere else to go. Whenever I dared to complain, she'd throw my parents' absence in my face, saying things like, "Don't forget who took you in when no one else wanted you." It planted guilt deep inside me, making me believe I truly was indebted to her. But as I got older, and started working hard to build my own future, I realized her version of care was nothing more than control disguised as sacrifice. The breaking point came when I finally managed to stand on my own feet. I had a steady job, a modest apartment, and for the first time in my life, I felt free. That's when she approached me with a ledger, an actual handwritten record of every supposed expense she had made for me since I was a child. Food, clothes, school supplies, all tallied up with interest she had invented out of thin air. The total came to $50,000. She didn't even flinch when she demanded payment, saying I couldn't possibly think all those years came for free. I was speechless at first, then furious. She had turned my entire childhood into a bill, as though I had asked to be orphaned, as though love and guardianship were services to be reimbursed. I refused, of course, and that's when she took it further. She filed an actual lawsuit against me. The courtroom became the stage for years of pent-up anger, shame, and twisted narratives. She stood there, claiming she had drained her finances to raise me, painting herself as a martyr who had sacrificed everything for a child who was now ungrateful. Her lawyer presented her so-called ledger as evidence, trying to convince the judge that I was legally obligated to repay her. My stomach twisted with every word she spoke, because even though I knew it was absurd, part of me still carried the guilt she had planted in me since childhood. But then my lawyer began to peel back the layers of truth. They revealed how I had worked unpaid hours in her business, how I had cared for her children, how she had received state support and benefits for fostering me. They showed that not only had she not spent her own money to raise me, but she had profited off me in countless ways. The courtroom air shifted, and for the first time, I saw my aunt's face crack with the realization that her lies were unraveling in front of everyone. The judge's response was something I will never forget. He looked at her ledger, then at me, and finally at her. He called her claim not only baseless but cruel, saying that raising a child is never a debt to be repaid, and that her actions showed a disturbing attempt to exploit someone who had already suffered enough loss in life. He dismissed her case entirely and warned her that if she continued to harass me, I could pursue legal action against her. The gavel struck, and in that moment, the chains she had wrapped around me for so many years shattered. My aunt, who always walked with pride and superiority, left the courtroom pale, shaking, and speechless. I walked out that day with a weight lifted from my shoulders, realizing that family isn't defined by blood or obligation. It's defined by love, respect, and support. My aunt never raised me out of love. She raised me out of self-interest, and it took standing in front of a judge to finally prove it. The experience scarred me, but it also freed me. Now, when I look back at my life, I don't see myself as the child who owed a debt, but as someone who survived manipulation and reclaimed their independence. And maybe that's the ultimate revenge. Not screaming, not fighting, but simply walking away stronger than the person who tried to break you. Because at the end of the day, no amount of false debts can outweigh the strength of someone who chooses to break free.